Everyone, it's Nick with Us versus Herd. If it's your first time here, you like the content, hit subscribe. If you want to get notifications for when we post videos, tap the bell. And if you want to join the UvH fam, our community, links in the description to our Discord and our free options trading group on Facebook. Thanks for sticking with me. Took a little bit of a break, had some internet issues yesterday, so I wasn't able to post a video. So I'm not going to be going over all my trades today. I did go over all of these in today's live stream, so the link is below. We did move the live stream to another channel. I will be going over some of these positions because they're on my watch list, obviously. So I've traded BA, Roku today, those kind of things. If you're interested in me reviewing my trades, link is below in the description to the new options trading live channel where you can check out today's video that I did earlier today. So let's get into it. We're finally into earnings season, has commenced with Netflix. Last week we had the banks. For some reason, futures just ripped. S&P's up 14 right now. Dow was up 120 a little bit ago, and Nasdaq's up 56 right now. It's up 100. So these were kind of crawling, but now for some reason, futures and SPY are just moving on up. SPY right now 322.78, 322.50, 332.58. It's been a long day. But to get into the watch list, obviously going to be looking at Netflix tomorrow. I don't necessarily ever trade Netflix for earnings because I feel like it's such a coin flip. They did release earnings, and they did report that growth was slowing. They did report. Let me pull this over here for a second. They did say they added 8.8 million subscribers, and that includes international and domestic, and it was on par with 8.8 million last year, which kind of means to me like growth is slowing. They're not necessarily, if they had 8.8 last year and they had 8.8 million this year, pretty much seems like they're kind of stalling out, in my opinion. You can read I'm not going to go through this whole article, but they botched some sort of Google search trend chart to compare the other shows with Disney and Amazon and Apple, and so I'm not going to go through that. But for me, in my opinion, is that there's more competition coming. Netflix has been at the top for a while. They still have great shows. I still watch it all the time, and I think that they're just trying to find where they're going to be amongst all this competition. Obviously, they're still a leader. Stock price is still relatively high. We close at 338. Netflix is currently at 345. Almost 346, so we're right in here. And what's interesting to me is this gap fill area. What I want to know is I love to trade Netflix after earnings. What I want to know is where the momentum is going to shift tomorrow. We're going to shift to the upside, or we're going to shift to the downside. I wasn't really in love with their earnings, and I think that's kind of people weren't really sure. I mean, was flat for a while, and then it kind of came up a couple bucks. But the expected move on this was $27. And it moved less than $10. So, premium seller is going to make a ton of money tomorrow. But I love trading the day after earnings for Netflix because it tends to be a great day trade. Just pick the momentum that it's moving in. You can scalp. I do that for a lot of trades. I don't necessarily trade every single earnings. A lot of times if I'm not sure, I wait for the report to come out, and then I trade based on the direction that it's moving in. And that seems to be a lot better for me than kind of quote unquote gambling on earnings. I do like to sell premium on earnings, but I felt like Netflix, the risk was way too high to sell premium. Looks like we would have been okay if we did sell premium, but here we are. I'm looking for this gap fill or rejection back down to the 315 area right now. I also have a Disney call. I have the 144 call for next week expiration, and kind of the goal was to see what was going to happen with Netflix earnings. It had any impact on the stock price. It did not. And what I do like, it's been bouncing off this 143.50 area, so I bought the 144 call going into next week. They do have earnings on February 4th, So I'm looking to run that up. I currently have the January 31st expiration, so looking for a little bit of run up into earnings. It is in a downtrend right now based off the 153 highs. It has been moving lower, but there's really no catalyst for it to move higher except for earnings. It's going to be the first quarter that they're going to report the Disney Plus numbers. I'm assuming that they're going to be pretty large, so we'll see what that does to the stock. But I'm hoping that there's a little bit of a run up before earnings. I have a small position on currently. If it dips a little bit lower, I'll add a little bit, but I'm not going to try to get too aggressive because this chart still is at a downtrend. It could come back down to like 140 before earnings, which obviously you don't want to put too much risk on a trade like this before earnings. But I do anticipate that Disney's probably going to move some pretty big numbers based on the Disney Plus numbers. Another trade that I'm currently in right now, still looking good, is SHAK. I have a debit spread. I have the 70 call and I'm short the 75 call. This still looks pretty good for a gap fill. However, it's getting pretty stopped out here at like 71 area. But the one thing that I do like is it's dropped below 70 pretty much almost for the last 3 days and 4 days actually, and it keeps coming back up above 70. It dipped today, it dipped Friday, it dipped last Thursday, it dipped last Wednesday, and it keeps coming back up for more. So right now I am up 17% on that spread. So we'll see what happens. It's currently for February 7th, so I have some time on it. So we have 17 days, but I don't want to push. You don't want to push the debit spread to the end because then it's going to be worthless if it's out of the money. Another one that I am obviously watching. I've been trading a lot. Currently down in that position. If you want me to review my Boeing trade, again, check out the live stream. I reviewed it in great detail today. My Boeing trade, made some mistakes on it. Been trading Boeing very, very well, and then things got a little messy with this. So check out the live stream for that. But right now we're at the 52-week low. They had some really bad news come out today, the 737 Max, but still not like a multi-year low. It's a 52-week low. Go back 2 years, it did hit 292.47 before it bounced back and ripped up to 446. But this was due to the trade war. It didn't really have anything to do with Boeing. They do a lot in China, but kind of shows that we're still kind of in the buy zone. But you want to be careful. You don't want to put on too much risk, too much exposure. If you want to nibble a little bit on calls, for me, we're still in the buy zone, but you want to be very careful. I'm currently down $980 on that position, which is pretty much, I wrote it off. I had the 332.50 calls. It was a bad entry. I didn't get out when I should have with a profit, and now we're paying the man. So if you want to hear me rant about that trade, check it out on live stream. I might edit that out and post it on here just so you guys can learn from it. But if you let me know in the comments if you want me to do that. If you guys like the content so far, I'd also appreciate it if you hit the like button. Thank you so much. So right now, I do think it's still buy the dip. I think long term, and I mean like long term, 3, 4, 5 years out, this is going to be a great stock. Might be a good place to start building a position, which I think I might, start building a stock position in Boeing. And again, this is not investment advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Invest and trade at your own discretion. So, for Boeing, I'm gonna see what happens with the price action. I'm not gonna be putting on another options trade, but I'm watching, see if I want to buy some stock, see where it's gonna go, see if it's gonna be revisiting these lows, or if it's gonna pretty much maintain, maybe try to bounce back up to 320. We'll see what happens right now with Boeing. So right now I'm kind of just watching, waiting, and seeing what's happening with it. Another one that I'm watching is Amazon. So Amazon, what I like about this, it was bouncing off the 18, let's just call it 1860 area. It's been bouncing off there the last few days, and it's been maintaining this, and now it's kind of ripping up. What I'd like to see is it to get to about 1925 or so we can see if it's going to revisit up to the 2000 area. Right now it's a little bit tight for me to start to get in long. I'd like to see if it can get up to like 1925. So I'm going to set an alert here right now for 1925. So you can't remember everything. So it's best to set some alerts. That way you can revisit this. If you're looking at other things in the stock moves and you're not watching it, you get alert. It's nice. So I am looking for 1925 right now on Amazon to get long. And then BYND, I currently have stock in this position on BYND, but the stock, I feel the move was a little bit overdone today. There was some news that Starbucks was looking to get into the plant-based food, and they didn't name Beyond or anything by any means. They didn't name any company. They didn't name Beyond or Impossible. People just assumed, and the stock reacted. The stock reacted in the past due to like McDonald's and stuff, and then it kind of settled back. What I want to see is this come back down to like the 110 area. Probably should start building a position here, but I was watching it. I just wasn't sure if we were just, hanging out down here. Like if we didn't get the news today, do you think it would have dropped down to like 100 or 90? That's kind of what I was thinking. If there was no news, and I feel like the news today was not worth 18%, but it is what it is. If there was no news, I feel like it could have been like 100 or come back down to like 95 area, or at least bounced off 100. But we had some news, so I'm going to see what happens to this. But I am long on stock, and looking to put a position. Obviously now IV got really jacked up now, so we want to be careful. Might just sell some puts on here if we can get it down, or if IV comes down a little bit. But right now premium is going to be rich, super rich. So that's about it. Leave me a comment below if you watch this video to the end. If you guys let me know also if you want me to split that Boeing video off, I'll do another video. Hit the like button and leave a comment below what your watch list is. Let's get it. Stay safe, stay green. It's us versus herd.